Hi there, Professor Chris here, and welcome to another video on scammers. Today, we're going to be looking at rental scams. So basically what happens is the scammer looks for a property, basically any picture of any property he can get. If it's for sale, great. If not, it doesn't even matter if there's someone living in it. So they find this property and they list it as an available rental with some details and some photos on some kind of website that allows things like that, such as Craigslist, whatever. And what happens is they end up getting their target, their victim, to send them money because the victim thinks that they're securing a new place for them and or their family to live. So as far as rental scams are concerned, who could be a victim of that, right? Great question. Anyone actually could be a victim of this. I mean, it could be someone older, someone who's never rented a place before, someone who's in a bad situation and they need to get out and they just don't listen to their gut or follow the signs. It happens. In some ways, these particular scammers sort of operate similarly to sweetheart scammers in that they will come up with some sort of tragic situation, either themselves or the loss of a family member, to sort of garner sympathy from their target. And they also will offer compliments. They'll be exceedingly kind. And something about scammers, a lot of them, I don't know if I can say most. Yeah, let's say most. Most of them use the word dear, D-E-A-R. We don't talk like that up here. I can tell you legitimately, we don't talk like that in New England. So right away, that's a red flag for me. Also, talk to this person on the phone if you can. Ask them where they're from. Ask them to identify their accent. If you know that their accent sounds like they're from another part of the world and they say they're Polish, for instance, you can tell. So next thing that they'll do is they will create a sort of urgency to get money on this property as fast as possible. They will say that, they have a lot of people interested in the property, so, hurry up. If you're gonna decide, you better do it fast. Or they might even say, well, for $100 or whatever, we can hold it for you. And they will also tell you that if you send them money, whether it's through Cash App, PayPal, Facebook, whatever the case may be, that they'll send you the keys and they'll give you some kind of bogus routing number or tracking number that is completely BS. And if you try and investigate this particular situation yourself, you can get to a certain point, but then you get brick walls because places like UPS and FedEx and whatever, in order to do the background on whether or not the tracking number that you were given is legitimate or if there's any package for it, or to get the security details, you need a warrant. So, and the thing that sucks is, there's so many jurisdictional issues with a situation like this. Yeah, it belongs to the FBI because it's a wire fraud and it takes place, across many countries, even in different parts of the world. Like I mentioned before, that app Zelle, I know it's attached to several banks, including but not limited to Citizens Bank. But the one thing I do know about Zelle, at least last I knew, was that in order to have a Zelle account, it has to be here in the US. Like it has to be attached to a bank here in the US. But it's probably then, you know, tied to another account that's wired overseas and blah, blah, blah. You know, whether it's just with the keys or with the holding fee or first and last month's rent, whatever the criminal, the scammer is going to just sort of feel out the situation, and they'll go with their gut as far as how much money they want to try and get out of their targets. It's a case by case basis. You know, one of the things that'll hook a target or victim in to looking at this property is the fact that it'll seem like a really good deal. You know, like say a single level house with a built-in pool in the backyard, or an in-ground pool in the backyard, and in a nice part of town for less than $800 a month. Yeah, no. There's no way. And an owner wouldn't charge that little for a house up here because the property taxes alone are probably maybe more than that. Yeah, property taxes are outrageous in here. But that's just what I'm saying, right? I mean, think about it. Use your head, talk to people, say, you know, am I crazy? Like, does this not make any sense to you? You know, if you can, talk to the person who's allegedly renting the property. Get them on the phone. If you can get them in person or on a video call, even better. But you want to know that these people are legitimate. So in the event that you do find an illegitimate rental, you notify the authorities. Don't instigate these people because you never know who they're tangled up with. The law enforcement will probably ask you questions and want a link to where you found this rental. They'll probably notify the owners and see if they know anything about it. You know, do your homework. Like I said, if this is a real place, go to it, or have someone you trust go check it out. Do a video call with them. Say, hey, what does it look like? You know, ask the owner lots of questions. If you can go to the area where this property is allegedly located, talk to the neighbors. Mention something that the owner of the property may or may not know about, like the pool in the backyard or the grill, or, you know, something you can see by looking in one of the windows, whatever. You know, check the photos online and look in the windows. Obviously, if the colors are weird, like if you're seeing a set of stairs in the pictures online and the house is a single level house, well, that should be one clue, right? And then let's say you're looking at a house up here in New England, but it's the color scheme for the inside of this house it just doesn't fit. It's probably because we don't paint our houses those colors on the inside. Up here in New England, we don't do that. Yellows, reds, really vibrant colors, we don't do that here. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. I'm just saying it's incongruous with, you know, how we do things. It should be a red flag. You know, usually with the exception of the application fee, which should be refunded if you don't move in, property managers shouldn't be asking for money if they're legitimate. So the only time you should be paying money is, again, probably with an application fee that will likely get refunded. I can't promise that because I don't know. You shouldn't be paying anybody any money, period. The scammer may send you a photo of themselves with their driver's license to add credibility to the identity that they're using to try and rip you off or rip off their targets, but don't fall for it. Google the person that they're sending you pictures of. Do not give personal information such as filling out an application until you verify that this is a real person renting real property. The scammer will use any kind of urgency that the victim is experiencing, or they'll make up their own to try and get money first. Don't ever send money for keys. Don't ever, not ever, don't do it. In fact, if you go to a lot of legitimate rental property websites, I've seen a lot that say, do not give money for keys. We don't ask for it. The scammer or one of their accomplices will threaten to rent the property to someone else if their target doesn't snag it up right away. And they'll say, oh, you know what? Don't even worry about it. It's no big deal. We'll just rent it to someone else, to get their target to go, no, don't rent it to somebody else. I want it, really. And that's how they're like, okay, got them. They may have the victim try Western Union or one of those other money wiring services. Don't send anything. Do not do it. If you're not sure, reach out to myself or one of the other security companies. We will find you someone who can answer your questions. So just don't do it, please. And be safe out there tonight. Don't drink and drive. Happy New Year.